All right, everybody, what's going on? It's your boy Town. So, decided to do a live. So, I don't usually use StreamYard, but I may allow some guests to come on here if I'm familiar with them. But, I'm not going to do this for too long because I got to get some rest. I got some stuff I got to do later on. But I wanted to talk about last night's fight, you know, um, with Foster and Nova. But first, I wanted to talk about, Bruce Shoo Shoo Carrington. Well, he kept his word. He told me he wasn't playing. He said he ain't taking no prisoners, and he had a sensational knockout over and Torres, excuse me. But it was a great knockout, man. You know, he went, you know, he hit him with a body shot. He went down low, and then he came up top with like a short right, and he pretty much like folded dude. He looked at like Manny Pacquiao when he got slept by Juan Manuel Marquez. So, but it was a great performance. I know people are talking about him fighting, the monster eventually, but he's a long way from a fight of that magnitude. He got to get his experience in. I know he's young and everything, but like, like the saying goes, there's levels to this. So, he's not there yet, but he's getting better every fight. And his upside is tremendous. And that's what you want to see in a fighter like him. You know, um, when it comes to up and coming fighters, prospects, and all that good stuff, um, it really comes down to pace. If they're overachieving, then you can move them along faster. If they're underachieving, then you got to slow them down. And if they at a certain pace, at the right pace, then you keep them at a certain pace. But I think where he is now, he's, you know what I'm saying, he's on the come up. But I think they need to still keep him grounded. Don't move him along too fast. But yeah, it was a great knockout. What's up, man? It was a great knockout. And it was, to me, it should be a candidate for knockout of the year. Now, we only in the month of February. We in the middle of February, or going towards the third week of February, and it's still plenty of fighting to be done. So who knows what'll happen? But yeah, yeah, I'm liking what I see. I'm liking what I see, and Shushu is a good, well leveled, young man. You know, humble guy. Um, Always gives the media access. Just a real cool dude, down to earth dude, and that's what I like about him. So I wish him nothing but the best. Look forward to seeing him fight again. I think I've only covered one fight where he was actually on the card. Most of the time, I just don't go to fights where he's on the card. So I think I only did a couple of fights where he was on the two at best, and he be, yeah, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that I'm gonna get to that in a minute. I'm gonna probably save that. I'm gonna save Canelo and Terrence Crawford. I'm gonna save that for last because it just got to be said about Canelo, and it's just time to just say this about Canelo because at the end of the day, um, when we were trying our hardest to get Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather, when we thought it could have reached its peak, we didn't get it to 2015, but in all likelihood, we should have got it around 2012 or whatever the case may be, 2013. But it still did well enough to where it broke, records. I know people said let it marinate and all that kind of stuff, but I don't know. It didn't live up to the hype. I mean, at the end of the day, it went how many people thought it would go for the most part, that Floyd would beat Manny Pacquiao with ease, in which he did. Now you still have some delusional Pacquiao fans that think Manny Pacquiao won that fight, but so be it. All right, so but I mean, if that's what you believe, that's what you you can believe. But the record books say that Floyd Mayweather won a unanimous decision over Manny Pacquiao. Whether we like it or not. I thought Floyd clearly won that fight, but I mean, it is what it is. But I do want to talk about, yeah, what's going on. I do want to talk about the main event, which the main event was good within itself. It was a good fight between Oshaki Foster and Abraham Nova. Me myself, for the most part, many people that saw the fight thought that Foster like clearly won the fight. I don't know where the split decision came. I mean, at best, it was a clear cut 8-4 for Foster, or um, worst case scenario, 7-5. But I thought Foster clearly won that fight. I mean, he finished strong. There were times where he looked like he was a couple of punches away from stopping Nova. And Nova was like clinching a lot and holding on to him because he was hurt a couple of times in that fight. Because I've seen a couple of punches that Foster landed that like shook him up. You know, Sometimes the fighter don't see what we seeing as observers and people watching the fight, watching the actual fight. But he was shaky at times. Now I know Foster looked like he hurt his right hand, but he still managed to be able to throw punches with both hands. But you could tell that something was wrong with his hand. But he did finish strong, and I thought he clearly won the fight. The split decision thing, I mean, whatever. But I thought it was a clear cut victory for Foster. Now, he's saying he got two more fights left at 130, and then he said he's gonna try his hand at 135. Because he struggled to make weight. And Tim Bradley was saying he need to get a nutritionist and all that kind of stuff. But to a certain degree, that's easier said than done because everybody's body works different, and it adapts to certain type of diets and meals and drinks and all that kind of stuff. Everybody's body is different, so that's easier said than done. But I thought Foster's performance was very solid. I thought it was very solid. He got hit with some shots. Nova was kind of awkward. His double jab was working for him, you know, and some of his body and his, body combination. But, Foster did some good work inside. Sometimes it's not eye catching to the judges, but it doesn't stand out as you landed like a a big right hand, a lead left, or overhand. But you know, it served its purpose, and it got him the rounds, and it secured him the fight at least on two of the judges' cards. And he got the knockdown. You know, and that's funny. So I thought he clearly won. Split decision. I thought that was I you know thought that one of the judges was being generous, but I don't know. I don't know what he saw that everybody else I don't know what he saw that everybody else didn't see, but I mean, you know, it is what it is. So, you know, now with that being said, I'm not gonna stay in here too long, like I said. So, okay, so according to Michael Benson, Canelo informed Samson Boxing, and that is David Benavidez' promoter, Samson Boxing, that Canelo will not be fighting David Benavidez. I'll do a video later, and I'll post, and I'll post the tweet that Michael Benson put up, and basically Canelo said he's not going to be fighting David Benavidez in 2024. Then you hearing this thing with Canelo that basically the PBC is having an issue coming up with Canelo's money, and if they don't come up with the money, I think by the end of the week, Canelo could go back to the zone. and start negotiating with Jaime Mugia for a possible fight in May. Because Jamal Charlo said he hasn't heard nothing from Al Heyman. He isn't even in training. But I mean, it's still February. I mean, at the end of the day, why would you start training? And I mean, because you still have all of March, you have April, so you still would have enough time to start training to get in shape and make weight for for the fight. So I don't think that's that big of a deal. You know I don't think it's that big of a deal that he isn't training. But he said out of his own mouth that he haven't heard anything from Al Heyman about Canelo showdown. And from what I heard, he may be possibly fighting Caleb Plant. That he may move up to 168 and fight Caleb Plant. So Caleb Plant is still in the equation. And then David Benavidez, we don't know what's going on with him, but according to reports that Canelo told David Benavidez promoter that he will not be fighting David Benavidez in 2024. So my question is, well, when the hell is you going to fight David Benavidez? I mean, come on, man. We've been waiting for this fight. Really, we started wanting this fight and clamoring for this fight way back in like 2021, 2022. And it just appears to me that Canelo has no intentions on ever fighting David Benavidez. And at the end of the day, it's funny when people thought that Floyd Mayweather was ducking Manny Pacquiao, but Floyd wanted Manny Pacquiao to do random drug tests. And it was an issue that held the fight up for a couple of years until it finally got figured out. But this thing with Canelo, this is just getting to the point to where I think everybody is getting frustrated because a lot of the Mexican fans, they're starting to get frustrated with Canelo because they're saying that he's looking like a coward. My thing is, I wouldn't disagree with that because it's like, dude, you didn't came up with every excuse why you don't want to fight David Benavidez. If it ain't one thing, it's another. You really finna skip over David Benavidez to fight Terrence Crawford when David Benavidez is like the number one contender and pretty much the mandatory, which the WBC isn't going to force Canelo to fight David Benavidez. Canelo should be called out for that because a lot of times people been softballing Canelo, asking him softball questions, not wanting to ask some tough questions because they scared that Canelo will cut off access. Well, I've never covered a Canelo fight, so it makes me none one way or another. But somebody needs to start saying, "Hey, Canelo, man, when are you going to fight David Benavidez?" The fans are getting frustrated, and at the end of the day, you got to keep it a buck. I know Terrence Crawford wants to fight Canelo because it probably equals a life changing retirement package like payday for Terrence Crawford. But at the end of the day, how realistic that Terrence Crawford can win that fight? Because like I said, you're talking about him going up 3 weight classes. I don't think there's ever been a guy in modern history of boxing within the last 30 years that went up 3 weight classes to fight somebody and won. So history is not on Terrence Crawford's side now. But if you listening, it's not that people don't believe in you, but that's a tall task to go up 3 weight classes when you've never had a fight over 147 in recent times. You've been campaigning at 147. You haven't even had a catchweight fight in the 150s yet. So if people think that you possibly are not going to win that fight, then they will within their right, and you shouldn't take it personal. Like I said, I'm very worried about Terrence Crawford in a fight with Canelo due to the fact that you're talking about, going up 20 pounds, and Canelo already said that he's not giving Terrence Crawford any leeway. He already said that he's not going to beat Terrence Crawford halfway. Basically, he's not going to go down in weight. Canelo is basically stated if Terrence Crawford wants to fight, he's going to have to fight him at 168. But at the same time, Canelo has basically for right now said he doesn't plan on fighting Terrence Crawford in May. So if it does happen, it'll happen likely in September. But my thing is, David Benavidez has been waiting patiently. At the end of the day, when he had the belt, Canelo didn't want to fight him, and then as soon as he was stripped of the title, Canelo went and fought in an eliminator bout, and he got the title. And a lot of people say Canelo shouldn't be acknowledged as the undisputed because he didn't win one of the belts in the ring against a current champion. That he fought an eliminator bout, and that's how he won. You know what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of people don't acknowledge Canelo as the true undisputed 168 guy. Yeah, see, that's another thing. That's something else. Yeah, 168. Canelo could blow up to like who knows. Canelo could blow up to like 185 pounds. So, like I said before, um, Canelo is right. What would he get out of fighting Terrence Crawford and winning? He has everything to lose because at the end of the day, he'll look bad because people will say, well, damn, you made a dude come up 3 weight classes to fight you, but you could have fought David Benavidez. You could have fought David Morrell. You could have fought, a rematch with Caleb Plant. But you decided to fight this dude. So, you know, I just think Canelo should fight David Benavidez, but it's obvious that David Benavidez presents something that Canelo doesn't like. For the people that's so confident that Canelo could beat him, my question is, why is it taking so long? He's with the PBC. It would be the easiest fight to make. And then Mauricio Sullivan came out and said that they would make Canelo fight David Benavidez. And then he tells me in San Francisco, well, they're not going to make him fight David Benavidez. So you just can't make this stuff up. So there you have it. So, but I just wanted to get this out. So I'll be back more later. I'm out.